It is Sunday. It is 3 p.m. on the East Coast. You know what time it is. It is time for the Sit Down with LB. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Sit Down with LB. It's me, LB, again, here with you on this Sunday afternoon. Thank you for joining me at this special time. I know many or some of you were just over watching Denise's fantastic show, and I hope I didn't cut it off early because I was salivating over her food because I would love to eat some of that food as well. And I love Denise. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that show. We're here early today because our guest is joining us from the Netherlands. And so up to this point, I've had some incredible guests thus far. And my guest this week is no less. Joining us today on the Sit Down with LB is the incredible Roberta Alexander. Hello, madam. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm doing good.
Some of my followers were already watching Denise. We have Jim Lieberthal. I know he was over there, and Darren Flagg we have him joining us from the West Coast, and Mariana Kulikova. We have people from all over the world. Barbara Wright Pryor. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
And so she's there, and all these people who just really follow us. And so I'm happy to have them here today. But of course, I am happy to have you. So how are you doing today, madam?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Can't complain.
In the Netherlands.
Yes, way past my bedtime, except that there is tennis on, so.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We'll talk about tennis later, but you and I are huge tennis fans, and I'm sure people will love to hear about our great love for that wonderful sport. Do you speak Dutch?
Natuurlijk. Yes, of course I do.
Well, look, it's a requirement, because I had an American friend who lived over there for a while, and it's a requirement that if you're living in the Netherlands that you have to take a test to be able to live there. Is that correct?
Well, if you want to permanently make your residence here, you have to be able to really get on with the language. So you have to take those courses. Yeah, for sure.
And that's something you did?
No.
Because you don't want to permanently live there?
Well, I think I came here in 1972. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so you've been there since then.
Since then, and I did my best to really go out of my way to learn to speak it, it was difficult because even the dogs speak English in Holland, so you have to force people not to speak to you in English when you're struggling to speak to them in Dutch. But now it goes okay.
Right.
Well, so.
Anytime you're speaking another language, I tell people all the time, no one can control your own tongue. So if they want to speak back to you in English, let them. But if you're trying to really get the grasp of any language, you must exercise that and speak it. And you did that going to the store. Albert Heijn, was that the store? Is that it?
Yes. Oh, and I've had some terrible experiences because I basically, when you're a singer, you kind of have an ear for things, although Dutch is a bit out there as far as having an ear for it, but you get there. And I thought that I was asking for certain things, and it turned out that I was just one letter off.
Okay.
And then it would be something completely different. And so people all around me would be laughing, and I wouldn't know what they were laughing at, but I had actually asked for red balls instead of red beets, or that it's one letter, L or an R. So I mean, okay.
We talk about that all the time, and I've seen these on Facebook where they say destroy. They said you can destroy something just by changing one letter.
Yes.
And I've seen these little things you see on Facebook where it's just like
Yeah.
completely different if you just change one letter, and it's a
Yeah.
complete disaster. But I can imagine, because I only know Dutch is a very difficult language. I only know nog eentje.
Nog eentje. Yeah.
Nog eentje. That's one more, like a beer or something like that.
Yeah.
Nog een beer, the same thing.
Yeah.
But it is a language that seems like it's incredibly difficult to speak. And so for it's close to German, isn't it?
It looks like it.
It's Afrikaans, and
It looks like German, but it has like those double vowels everywhere.
exactly.
The double A's and the double O's and the double E's, and sometimes there's even the word ideas is with 3 E's.
Yes. And Marley,
And it's like this long. So anyway, yeah. But if you immerse yourself, I was lucky because my ex-in-laws didn't speak any English,
okay.
and I was with them a lot.
Okay.
In the beginning, and so I had to learn to speak. My ex-mother-in-law took this television course of English, and so when I met her for the first time, she said, "Look, a spy," because that was what she had learned on this course. So of course I learned how to say "look, a spy" in Dutch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So you had some common laughing point or something that you could communicate, in common.
It's the vocabulary that is the hardest. You just have to keep, learning and learning and learning. I'm obviously I'm still not done with it. So,
but you really can function in the society and have no problems understanding and also communicating. Is that correct?
yes.
Someone
Yes,
on here, someone said it sounds like backwards English.
it does sound like English and German mixed up all in there together. There's a lot of, yeah, but it's actually it's not as harsh as people think it is. When you first hear it, you think it's a lot of. It's not that bad, really. It's actually kind of sweet.
The people say the same thing about German. And German is such a beautiful language when it's sung, and spoken. But I saw the real beauty of the language when I heard people singing it. And
Oh, yeah.
have you ever sung in Dutch?
Oh God, yes! What a horror.
A horror.
Yeah, a real horror. But
Is it difficult? Is it that much different than singing in some of the other languages?
those vowels that are they're odd, and it is different. It's different, and yeah, I wouldn't recommend unless
Well,
you're Dutch.
well, well, singers love vowels, though, don't we?
Yeah, but I mean stuff like, okay, it's the diphthongs that get you.
Okay.
It's the the ow.
Okay.
That is not pretty. I don't care how you try and mask that up. If you're singing an ow, that's not very lovely. So
I guess that would cause
I,
some problems. Hi.
but ow, that's really weird. Sort of. Anyway,
Well,
but
we're taught not to sing diphthongs, right?
yeah.
We're taught not to.
Well, we're taught to sing as long as possible on the first part
There you go.
of the diphthong, and then tuck the last part in as you're leaving it.
Tag it on the end. Yes.
Tag it on the end, but that's I'm not sure.
I could see how that would be
Well, and
challenging.
also, yeah, stuff like the word give. I mean, I remember one text that I had. It was, give me something to drink. Oh, give me something to drink. Otherwise, I'm going to die. I was the third orange, okay?
Yes.
In Love of the Three Oranges. So I
Yes.
came out of the orange and and it was in Dutch. And I had to sing, geef te drinken. Ach, geef mij water. And so the first thing is, which is it's a challenge, to put it mildly.
To put it mildly.
Yeah, it's a challenge. But,
So someone says it sounds like gargling. Barbara Wright Pryor says
did she?
it sounds like gargling.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm overdoing it. So
We're not, but and we have. Of course, love the Netherlands, and I do as well. So we're not making fun of the language. What we're making fun of is how difficult it is for a non-native speaker to sing this. You know?
Well, I would say it's right up there with Czech.
Okay.
As difficulty wise.
Yes, exactly. And you sung in Czech.
I have indeed. Well,
yes.
I thought I was.
Well, you did sing. Yenufa was in Czech, obviously, and that's what, you have great acclaim for having done that role incredibly. And so having to learn Czech, how different is it from having to learn the Nederlands?
Oh, well, but the thing is that for me learning Czech, I had no background in it other than I had sung a small role in Yenufa before in Czech, and Rusalka, a small role in Rusalka in Czech. But when you speak Dutch every day, even if, like in my own home, we speak, Danglish, which is Dutch and English sort of mixed up. But everything outside of your own oasis, you're dealing with the language all the time. But Czech, I had no background in it at all. So that was really hard. It was also, when I did the Yenufa in Czech, it was the third language that I had learned it in.
Okay. What were the other two languages? English, obviously.
My first Yenufas at the Met in English.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my! I didn't know that they did that. And how did they manage to do that in English at the Met?
No, I won't. It was 1985, so it's a while back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not before the war or anything, but it's a while back. And then I did it in Vienna at the State Opera in German.
Yes.
And then finally in Glyndebourne, where there wasn't a Czech person to be seen.
I know you thank God for that, right?
Oh, yeah, that Czech coach, he would come up to me. He would have like 10 A4s after one act. And I said, why are you always bothering me? And he said, well, it's because you're the one who's singing all the time. I said, and obviously I'm the one who's making all those mistakes. Oh, but he was lovely though. Lovely.
Oh
anyway,
my gosh.
It was hard though.
Yeah, but
I managed to stay one page ahead of that director.
Oh, really?
With memorizing that text. One page a day.
How long did it take you to learn that role, Yenufa? Or are you a quick study?
I am yes.
Okay.
I'm a quick study. The music went in okay, okay. The language took me a good long while. That took a long while to settle in.
Right.
I was lucky. The first time I did it was with a wonderful Czech conductor, Václav Neumann,
Okay.
and he literally gave me that musical style on a platter, sort of
Oh,
here, and
wow.
it was wonderful.
Invaluable to have
Yes,
someone there. Well,
yeah,
clearly he wanted to see you succeed, and you felt that, correct?
that was yes, I did. It was really nice. Yeah,
And did you have after that? Did you have a connection with this conductor going forward?
I did actually. I went on tour with the Czech Philharmonic and with Mahler too through Spain.
Nice,
Yeah, yeah,
nice. I
with
bet that
Krista
was fun.
Ludwig. Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
Krista Ludwig. Oh, great.
Wow, that was really something. Yes,
Wow.
that was nice. But and then but he was a bit older, and then unfortunately he passed away. So,
Okay.
but that was I'm always grateful for that experience. That was wonderful.
Yeah,
The
because
the
you
Met
know,
gave me that one.
yes. And
Yeah.
the thing is, some of these things can make long lasting friendships, people that you never know that you're joined with for many, many, many years. You do something together. And I was asking, for that reason, because you had that close bond of a role that's been so important for you, did it also create a lasting friendship?
Well, I am still really really good friends with my Kostelnichkas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the evil stepmother,
Yes. And
especially with Anya C,
yeah.
and
Yes.
also with my Latsas, Latsa tenor, um,
Mm-hmm.
which I call them.
Well, can we go back a little bit because I know we're talking about we're not all over the map, but I usually like to start with the beginning. And so, your beginning was in Lynchburg, Virginia,
Right.
and then
That's where I was born.
you were born there, and then your parents quickly moved you to a great state. I mean, a state that I don't have words to explain how great of a state it is. The great state of Ohio. And so let's talk about your experience as a young person in the state of Ohio and your family unit, if you would.
Well, there were the unit was pretty tiny,
Mm-hmm.
just my mother and father and myself.
Okay. No
Um,
siblings.
no,
Only
no,
child.
yeah.
Okay. Great.
And they were both musicians. Although the reason that my dad and my mom and dad moved to Ohio was because at the time, if I'm not mistaken, he was teaching. He had the choir in a high school in Lynchburg, and he
Okay.
also was teaching tennis and basketball. But there was not a whole lot of monetary remuneration for this in this job. And another friend of theirs had moved to Dayton,
Mm-hmm.
Ohio, because Wright-Patterson Air Force Base was hiring people to learn how to work with computers and be computer programmers.
Okay. Yes.
And so my dad, apparently, I mean, of course, I don't know this, but he went out and he applied for one of those jobs at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base as a civilian, and he
Mm-hmm.
got one.
Oh,
So then we moved to Dayton.
yes. I
Um,
know I know Dayton well because that's where my wife is from.
oh wow.
And her father what served at Wright Pat.
Okay.
Yes, and so I know many people who are still at Wright Pat, and so yes, I'm like, wow, finding out all this stuff. We're kindred spirits because we have like the same,
The same
yeah,
areas.
networks, yeah,
Or,
areas. But
and
so
then
he worked at Wright Pat, yes.
yes, and then but he never lost his love of choral music.
Mm-hmm.
And so he also got a job at Wilberforce University. He was the chorus master of the Wilberforce choir.
Okay. And your father's a trained musician, correct?
Yes,
He has
yes,
he had a degree in music then?
yeah.
Okay.
They
Great.
both they
Okay.
both of my parents were. They Undine Moore was their theory teacher, and
Oh.
so that's for me. That's Aunt Undine, right? Little, I don't know. I didn't know anything,
Oh
but
my gosh. I
but
just bought a book of spirituals where I have some of her spirituals in those in the books that Undine
yeah, and
composed and
yeah,
arranged.
yeah, and so there's a whole lot. There's all kinds of stuff going on there, and he remained at Right Pat. He advanced. And of course, he never he never told us what he did because it was a secret. I have no idea about that. All I remember was he was a damn good choir director,
Wow. That's great.
and my mother was a fantastic soprano.
And
Um,
so the chip off the old blocks, I guess.
well, yeah, I mean things like when I was 7. Um, my dad had a choir. It was called the Robert Alexander Chorale, and it was made up of all the black people who, well, they just wanted to sing, but
Mm-hmm.
there was no integration, so you couldn't become a part of the Dayton Chorale.
Right. There was
So
no place for them.
there
For
was no
you.
place for them. So they made their own chorale. Now, I think it was 57, they're doing Lost in the Stars as a co-production with Caramoor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was about, well, obviously 7 or 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the person singing Irina in this Lost in the Stars is Shirley Verrett. And yeah, it's in her bio. I love that. Yellow Springs, Ohio, which is where we eventually ended up living. But
Yes.
so my mother was singing the female chorus. They did 4 operas that summer.
Mm-hmm.
The Lost in the Stars, um, Benjamin Britten, Rape of Lucretia,
Mm-hmm.
and The Old Maid and the Thief, and Trouble in Tahiti.
Okay.
So
Yes.
they needed the black chorus for the viol, and so that was the Robert Alexander chorus.
Okay.
My mom sang the female chorus in the Britain, and Shirley
Yes.
Barrett was Lucretia.
Oh.
And so there's a lot of stuff. I
Oh my
mean,
gosh. So you
it
were
just
destined. I
I
mean,
think
all of these musical people around you, and then being exposed to, you know, Shirley Barrett at such a young age. And
and she was wonderful. I got her dress.
do you still have it?
No,
Oh, what happened to it?
I don't know. I don't know. It was just I got her dress from Lucretia.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
And
I'd be walking in the basement, you know, going, see what the Etruscans have done. Sort of. I mean, just
but
total
see,
fan.
here's a question. Seeing her and seeing her at that level, of course, the great Shirley Barrett, did it make you think this is absolutely what I want to do?
I already knew that.
You did.
I knew that. I mean, I know I heard my mom
Mm-hmm.
singing In quelle trine morbide, and I thought that is what I want to do. I want
Yes.
I want to sing like that.
Yes.
And so whenever she would have a concert, I could go to it, but only if I promised not to sing along.
You knew all the parts, right?
I knew all of her arias and all the songs, everything.
Because
Schubert,
you were.
Brahms, Schumann, Mahler, you name it. I had the whole thing down.
She was a lyric soprano then, correct?
Yeah, but I mean more on the heavy lyric side.
Oh, she was.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you grew up emulating her or imitating her, or?
Well, that's a funny thing. I tried to, but we had totally different voices.
Mm-hmm. That happens.
So I got into it. Well, I did a CD actually as a tribute to her. It's called Songs My Mother Taught Me.
Yes.
And everything on there is something that she sang when I was a girl. Mm-hmm. And I had to really back that up because I found myself getting in knots because what I was trying to do was recreate her sound.
Right.
But that wasn't in here.
Exactly.
So
right.
I had to I had to back that up.
Yes.
And then do them the way I could do them because she had a big honking voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a nice, big, healthy. I would say more like the Jugendlich dramatisch kind.
Okay. Okay. So you had to find your own voice, obviously.
Yeah. And
right.
we sang Porgy and Bess together once.
What was that experience like?
Amazing. She was Serena,
yes.
and I was Bess.
Oh my gosh!
We're talking like, okay, the early '60s, so or middle '60s. I think I was just a sophomore at Central State University, and they did not have anybody to sing Serena, so they asked my mom, and
they called in the big guns.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was in awe of her, but I must say that anybody who sings Serena, I'm in awe of them anyway.
Thank you. That is one. I mean, there are many wonderful moments in Porgy and Bess, but My Man's Gone Now is one of the. It's one of the great moments in music.
It really is. It really, really is. And that Dr. Jesus.
Oh.
Which is. I'm telling you.
You go to church, don't you?
Yes. I heard LaTanya sing that in January. And, that My Man's Gone On, I just wanted to jump up out of my seat. I remained calm and, dignified, but I wanted to jump up. I did.
Yes, loud. I wanted to say that. I saw LaTanya sing that too. And when I was there at the Met, I was sitting here in 2 rows in front of me and to the side was Kathleen Battle. And she was beaming. She was so overwhelmed and so happy to see what was happening on stage. And LaTanya, who I've had on this show as well, who I love, she was so incredible in that.
And so she was so honest.
Yes.
It's all about that honesty in that performing.
Yes.
I liked so much of what I heard that night.
Incredible voices on that stage.
Yes.
I was beaming with pride myself because just to hear that chorus was unbelievable. They
should not have cut out all that music in the hurricane scene, though.
I agree.
Never mind. I'm not going to. Okay.
Hopefully the Met's not watching this show today. But Let's talk about Porgy and Bess if we could. Do you love that opera for you?
I do. I do.
And how often have you sung it?
Well,
enough for you or not just right?
Just right. I sang one major one, the one in New York at the Met.
Yes.
And I've sung like a ton of those, those concerts where you have where you sing all the roles. So that's masquerading as
right.
Oh yes, and of course there was the one time when I even got to have a stab at Mariah.
Okay. How was that?
That was the early music version with Nicholas
with harnoncourt. It was that fun.
I'm telling you, I'm not an alto.
I was gonna say, well, Denise was just singing it at the Met, and Denise has a lower voice than I do.
She was great.
Oh yeah, she was great.
Fantastic.
She was great.
But it was, for me, it was all about that. I hate your strutting style.
Oh yeah,
I love doing that.
I bet you killed that. I bet you like completely slayed it, as we say.
I had a good time doing that. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think I've done it. As much as I'd like to. And Bess is hard. She's really, really hard. She has no moment by herself. Really. I mean, there's that one time when she sings a half a summertime. But it's all duets. It's very physical. And the baritones are always singing in the best part. They're honking in the best part of their voices, So they're, like right up here, like,
right.
And you have to like, okay, I can't do that. I have to get up to those A sharps. So let me just cool it here. Don't listen to him. Love him and say, oh yes, darling, but
right.
I need to get up on those A sharps. And then in that one duet, that last F sharp on the word now. And that can go sour in a heartbeat if you're not careful. So
my teacher always is long. My teacher says cool head and warm heart instead of the hot head and the cool heart, because Bess is one of those roles that you can absolutely lose your mind and just go.
Oh yeah.
The scenes with Crown?
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's so easy to do because it's so dramatically it's just like, whoa, I get to sing that. Oh, what you want. I love that.
What you want with Bess. Yeah. Curtis Ram is on here and says, hello, Roberta, my Vitalia, singing with you, and buying shoes and Easter bonnets in Venice will always be a glorious memory of my career. Love you much. Hello. Hello, Curtis. I'm going to have you on here as well, sir. But so many people are writing on here, and they're talking about like their favorite recordings of you. You did a Porgy and Bess that they love. Let me see if I can get some of these other comments. People just seem to love you so much, and people are writing on here all over the place, and they're just like, they said it was a Mozart, one of your Mozart roles that somebody said something about. Was it you did Contessa?
Yes.
And you have a recording of that, yes? Is that what it was? Let's see.
I don't think so. I don't know Elvira.
Maybe it was Elvira that it was.
Elvira I have a recording of, and Idomeneo Elettra.
There it is, yeah. And then someone said your recording of Porgy and Bess with Simon Estes.
Yes. That's
my My guest for next week is Simon Estes. So he'll be on here next week. I'm in September. I'm cooking and I'm starting it off strong.
Okay.
Oh, here it is. Someone said they remember your Countess with Barbara Hendricks as Susanna, Hilda Harris as Cherubino, and Carolyn Blackwell as Barbarina in The Marriage of Figaro at the Met in 1989. What in the world? A one-time performance, they say.
Yes.
That stage was loaded with incredible talent.
That is very true. I don't think we even knew what was going on until it was sort of like we were like halfway through and we were like, wait a minute.
Hello.
This is pretty good. Look at this. Look at us up here.
Right.
Yeah. Somewhere like in the, I don't know, maybe it was even the finale of the whole thing, because Loretta DiFranco was the only white woman in it.
And she was like looking around like something's changed.
Oh my God. There was this moment, it was a Ponnell production, and so at the end of the opera, the men went one by one to stage left and the women went one by one to stage right. And Loretta was the last one to join. And she said, oh my God, I thought I was joining the Supremes. Because
oh, that's great. Yes. But she was sweet about it, clearly.
Yes. That was really, that was an absolutely like a sort of red letter day.
Because, even today, when we have more than one on stage today, we're like, what in the world? Because it's not the norm.
No, it isn't. That's the one thing that I liked about that Chiro Electra, was that there were many, many different nationalities, colors. The two Americans, Bonita Hyman and myself, were in the maids. I'm talking about the original one, and one of the actresses was from Brazil, and I mean, it was everything all mixed up together, and that's what he wanted.
Yes.
So it was very odd, because some of this stuff is extremely white.
By design.
By design.
By design, yes.
And there you are. I really, really appreciated that.
Yes.
A lot.
Ingrid Prinzen says, a lot of roles at the Dutch National Opera. The last role that she saw you in was A Dog's Heart. And a beautiful four last songs. Is that you?
No, I've never sung the Dog's Heart.
Okay, Ingrid, you might be mistaking her with someone else. A beautiful singing and beautiful person who sang that role, but it wasn't her. Bonita Hyman, of course. You definitely know. You guys shared that experience together, and you keep in touch with her as well.
Yes, well, yes, we do. She was I think she was just in Salzburg.
Okay.
Singing the Electra.
Salzburg. That's right. It wasn't the Peter Sellers one. I don't think he did that. He did Tito, or either I think it was a Mozart one, Peter Sellers, and he did one that was a black themed one where he had almost
that was Clemenza
di Tito. Yeah, it was Tito. Right. Okay,
with,
not Electra.
Russell Thomas.
Yes, Russell and Janine, and
they were brilliant.
Yeah, they're incredible singers.
Yeah,
incredible singers. Incredible singers.
That was that Corinthus person, wasn't it? Conducting.
Yeah, that's right. I can't say his last name, but I'm not going to try to because I might hurt myself trying to pronounce some of these names. Let's talk about your most memorable experience on the Met stage, if you can think of what that was.
Oh, well, it would have to be when I jumped in to do Vitellia.
Yes.
Tell
us about it.
Well, I was up in Boston singing the Altenburg Lieder. And
not your favorite piece of music, right?
Oh, no. A lot of work and no payback.
There you go.
Not like the Siebenfrühe Lieder or something. Anyway, sorry, that's too much information. So I was up there, and the phone rang, and Carol Van Ness had broken her foot. And so the cover had the flu. And so they had one performance where Carol was on the side of the stage in a wheelchair with her foot, in the cast, and the cover, and she was singing it, and the cover was walking it.
Acting it, yes.
And the maestro just said, no. So, so I got this call whether I could do it. And I had not just, but like 6 months before, I had been singing Clemenza in Venice with Curtis Rand.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, I'll call you. I said to my agent, I said, I'll call you back because I know I know the arias, I know the ensembles, but those recits.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not really sure.
Mozart recits.
Yeah. So I was, my husband and I were walking across that Boston Common, and I said, well, I don't know because I can't remember the first line.
Mm-hmm. And that's not a good sign.
And he said, "Ma che?" And I went, "Sempre di sesto di mi verrai so che se dotto fu l'intelo da te che cosa qua ci son po' di già che ho capito che questo." And it just came rolling out. So I said, "Okay.
Yes.
I'll do it."
Mm-hmm.
I never had any stage rehearsal and no, however, one of the things that was very, very scary was that there's like about 20 pages of recitative before parto, at least. And something is always cut. Mm-hmm. So the 10 pages that I knew were the 10 pages that had been cut. And the 10 pages that I had never sung in my life were the ones that were in.
Oh, gosh.
So.
And how much time were you given to?
I had 5 days.
5 days, okay.
5 days. So I thought that I knew it, right? And I was sailing through Act 1. It was going really well. We get to this moment, and I'm looking at Tatiana Troyanos, and I have no idea what to sing. None. The prompter is yelling, and I'm just sort of... And Leslie Koenig was behind, and they're yelling. Everyone's yelling. I don't know what's going on. So Tatiana looks, and she sees that I don't know what I'm doing. She sings my line to me with her back to the audience, turns around and sings her line frontwards, and that's all I needed. I was back on then. Now that's a colleague.
Oh my gosh.
That's a colleague. I'm telling you.
Did you thank her? Like,
oh, she was my idol for life. She saved me.
Oh my gosh. And this happened in the span of what, 10 seconds or more?
Yeah.
It seemed like an eternity, right?
It seemed like it was about 20 minutes. It really did. But it was, yeah.
Curtis said that the recits are different from one house to another.
Yes.
In a role in an opera that's not so commonly performed it's worse even, you know?
Yeah, it's really yes, it's a horror. But now that sticks out with me enormously. That
Mm-hmm.
that particular, also because I really enjoyed singing her. I think
Mm-hmm.
that role is the one that I've sung the most, is
Mm-hmm.
because, and I really enjoyed, after I got over the trio. You know, that's always a bit of a problem because there's that high D in there, and it's a passing one, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also coming after a string of high Bs,
Mm-hmm.
and bang bang bang
They're
bang bang bang.
taxing.
Yeah, and it was never, let me put it this way, it was never my forte, that particular note. Uh,
With the high D.
yeah, well, I'd rather it to be, uh, like any other note up there, but that one
Exactly.
just was like, yeah, that wasn't my thing. I remember doing it in Japan, and it was with this early music. Who were those people? I don't know. Some early music people, and I just had the best time. That aria I didn't mind that it was a low F sharp. I felt just right at home. The
Right.
D was C sharp. It was fabulous. I had a wonderful time.
You feel like that role was just written for you.
Yeah, it really was. It
It
really
fit you
was.
like a
Oh,
glove.
it really did, and I enjoyed it. And then I actually got to do it again,
Mm-hmm.
in at the Met, with a normal amount of rehearsals.
Mm-hmm.
So that sort of was better, was sort of better. But
And
I remember that.
but of course, coming back to that now that you had gone through that experience, I'm sure you felt a sense of security that those pages, was it the same edition that those pages that okay, so the time
Yeah,
you came back, you made sure that
I knew him
those,
then. Yeah.
if I'm gonna know anything, I'm gonna know this one right here, Renee Jacobs.
Learn those 20 pages, I'll tell you.
Yes. Curtis said that it was Renee Jacobs in Japan. That's who it was when you did it in Japan. Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh,
She says no, Curtis.
I never have sung with Renee Jacobs, Curtis.
Oh, really?
No, I haven't.
I mean, because he's really early music. I mean, I've done
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
with him, and
Christopher
it's
Hogwood.
okay. Christopher Hogwood. That's who it was.
Hmm.
That called up your memory when he said
Yeah.
you knew it wasn't Renee, so it had to be.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you singing with some of the legends because of course, I know you sung with so many of the greats, so many of the greats. And I'm not going to ask you who your favorite was, but can you tell us something, um, not dirty or secretive, but something that was charming or unique about one of the greats that we all know that we would just love to hear something. I don't know if we heard about Pavarotti always looking for a bent nail in the back of the stage at the Met, so it would give him good luck. Or some other people I know, like even what do you call it? What's his name? Franco Corelli. He had horrible stage fright, and he had certain things that make him get on stage. Because he wouldn't go normally. But something I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that, I don't know. I don't know.
Or great moments. You can even give us what the great moments with one of these people where you felt like it was a cast for the ages, and you just thought, oh my gosh, I'm on the stage with X,
With,
Y, Z.
I get, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like, I think when I was in Salzburg with that Mahler 8,
Hmm.
and I was in between, I was next to Jesse Norman and Krista Ludwig, and I was just like, you gotta be kidding me.
Pinch me, pinch me,
You
right?
gotta, yeah. And in the audience was Karian was in his box, and Muti was like at this kind of eye level, like in the Festspiel house, and I completely was like, pinch me. I'm like from Yellow Springs, Ohio.
And in Salzburg,
In Salzburg. I mean,
the
gosh, yeah.
epicenter of like artistic height in that
Yeah.
moment.
But things that people maybe wouldn't even think of. Jerry Hadley,
Oh, Jerry
when
Hadley.
he would sing Que gelida menina, I could hardly like sing.
Mm-hmm.
It was so moving and so that it was like the sun was coming out when he sang.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a whole lot of these concert performances of Bohème all over the, in the one of them is in the Hollywood Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was so cold, and yeah, you would think so, California. Yeah,
California, I know.
sure.
Right. Who was it? Mark
At
Twain? The coldest, was it the coldest winter was the summer in San
San
Francisco?
Francisco,
The
yeah.
cold, yeah. But
I mean,
Jerry Hadley, oh,
yeah, that kind of I just loved the way he sang.
mm-hmm.
I loved what he did. I loved the honesty of what he did. And it always touched me when he sang.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're not like, I don't know, maybe they're not the largest names, the biggest names, you know, but it's all about, for me, it's about what comes from here
Yes, the
and
heart.
the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I so I don't know. I find that really hard. I'd have to think on that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, any kind of, because I can't pick one. That's a
Right.
terrible question.
I want to challenge you to make so you can
Yeah,
rack your brain trying to figure out how in the world can I answer this? Because that's the thing. With such an incredible career you've had, I'm sure you've had countless, nights on the
see,
stage, but there are some special moments that happen too, yes?
absolutely, absolutely. But then it's not. I don't know. Those those are my moments,
Mm-hmm.
and
I respect
so
that.
and so I. It's
You
not that
keep
I
them for
don't.
you.
It's not that I don't want to share them, but I don't.
But they are something that warms your heart, I'm sure. And I
Oh
totally
yeah.
respect that. You feel like even when you're sitting there and having your afternoon tea and you're thinking about those incredible just moments that
Well,
you just can't repeat, it's something that
yeah,
touches you in a different way.
and and sometimes things come at you in in unexpected moments.
Mm-hmm.
In a moment where you weren't expecting to be touched or moved or anything, and all of a sudden you're someone has said something to you, and I think when I was in an elevator and Regine Crespin, I said something, like, oh, it took me all my courage to screw up my courage to say, hi, my name is Roberta Alexander, and I'm your biggest fan or something, gush, gush, gush. And she looked at me, she said, oh, I've heard of you. And I
Oh
went,
my. I'm going to die a little bit inside, right?
I must have, I think I flew out of the building. My feet didn't touch And she also didn't say how she'd heard of me. But that didn't matter. I took it as a positive.
Well, that's all that matters is how you took it.
Yeah. I mean, stuff like that, I love things. I love things like that. Well, because I don't know, I never think of my own self as, that way.
Unforgettable moments, though. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone left a question here. Kristen Adriana Larson Uloa says, Roberta, how do you balance your feelings, your emotions when you sing in moments like that? Like the moment you talked about Jerry Hadley, but also not letting your emotions take over.
Oh, yeah. Most of the time, I've done all my weeping and sobbing and everything in the practice room.
Mm-hmm.
I've let myself get to that moment in the practice room because, I will cry at the drop of a hat.
Really?
Oh, yeah. At the turn of a beautiful turn of phrase, a certain harmony, the way somebody plays something.
Yes.
It's just like, oh my God, that was the most wonderful thing I ever heard. And then I'm gone.
No coming back from that, huh?
Yeah, but there's a thing where when I was a young singer, I got into all kinds of trouble letting my emotions run me. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to control them. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know how to, I would just be, crying on stage, just sobbing until I realized that this was counterproductive. Mm-hmm. And I had a really hard time singing and crying at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I had to know how far I could go before. Mm-hmm. So my job was to get other people crying. And my job was not to make my own self cry.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shifts the focus and kind of like puts you in a different place.
And in a different place. So that's where my brain would have to go answering mm-hmm. this young lady's question. That's where my brain would have to go when I found myself like getting the lump in my throat when I would hear, and I'd go, oh!
Because just think, you have to sing "Mi chiama no Mimi" right after that, and it can't be the lip. Mi chiama no Mimi.
No, so
Sipario.
Yeah, so I had to, you have to learn how you need to like shut that down immediately, mm-hmm. so that you can do what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. As you said, you got to make sure that it's not detrimental to your performance, which is the most important thing for you.
Well, at that time, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Oh my. Let's shift subjects. So one of the things I love about you is that you are a huge fan of tennis. I am a huge fan of tennis. Somebody has to look on ESPN. Jim Lieberthal, look on ESPN and look at the score of the tennis match right now. The U.S. Open is going on right now, and my favorite player is playing right now. So I am a big fan of Novak Djokovic. I think everybody knows. Who is your favorite player of all time on the female side first, and then the male side, if I may ask?
On the female side, it would have to be Serena Williams.
Serena Williams. Love Serena.
I mean, I love Venus and Venus, too.
Of course.
Okay.
Love them both.
I adored Sabatini back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah, I really, but hands down, it's got to be Serena.
Love Serena. Love Serena.
Really do. I really do.
So, the male side of all time? Because Serena's still current, she's still current. But males,
Agassi, Andre Agassi.
my favorite. I love you even more. Andre Agassi is my absolute favorite tennis player of all times.
Mine too.
Love him.
He love him.
I love the fact that he completely reinvented himself.
Yeah, well, he walked away and came, and then he worked his behind off.
Yes, he did.
To get back.
Yes, he did.
I respect that so much.
Yes.
Yeah. I just thought but I loved those returns that he made. Now, when the people would just have finished like serving, and before they could get the racket down here, the ball was coming back past them, and they were sort of like, oh, "What was that? What was that just passed me? Oh God!" Yeah.
Well, until Djokovic, who is my favorite current player, Agassi was the best returner.
You had to say that, didn't you?
Yeah. I love Novak Djokovic.
Okay, I'm going to let you slide because I like you so much.
And who's your favorite male current player?
Nadal.
Rafa.
Yeah, I like Rafa a lot.
You like, and even with all the ticks he has, Rafa?
Oh, well, yeah, that does kind of get on my last nerve sometimes. But I love that work ethic.
Oh my gosh.
And he's just I like him a lot.
The mental game of his mental, toughness. Where he goes, toughness is just unparalleled,
Yeah. I really will. I mean, there's that. It's just that is like that work ethic is just stellar.
Yes.
So I can put up with those ticks, except for that little thing with the pants thing. That's just. I wish you would just stop doing that. But okay.
Every time.
I suppose if you had maybe I used to think maybe his drawers were too tight or something.
Get a bigger size. Just one size bigger and you'll be fine.
Yeah, anyway.
But the thing I love about him, I do like Rafa as well. I mean, look, we can't, there's no denying that we are in the greatest era of tennis with these three.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But the thing you can't deny is that the king of the clay courts is Rafa Nadal. It's not even arguable.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean, definitely. And, I think for Djokovic, it's hard for me to even say his name. But, I'm sorry.
You can't even say his name. It's like choking, right?
Yeah. Okay. For you'd have to. I don't live under a rock, so you have to give credit where credit is due. The boy plays fantastic tennis.
Mm-hmm.
He really, really does.
Yes.
So does Roger.
Yes.
In a completely different manner, but they're all different. They're so different. They all have one thing in common, and that is that will to succeed.
There you go.
One of them might be a little bit more laid back about showing it outwardly. Djokovic has got that, like, it's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rafa is a little bit more passive aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Roger, has the same will, but he has the veneer of Mr. Cool.
You're right. Exactly.
But underneath all of it is that will to succeed and to be the best.
To be the best.
And it's not about it. A lot of times I don't even think it's about beating the other guy. It's just about being the best that they can be.
The best version of themselves.
Exactly. And I admire that. Somebody else who had that, I thought, in really, really good was Borg.
Yes. Borg was another one, yes.
I always wondered why he stopped. That just sort of like... Anyway, sorry.
Well, let me ask you this. What type of fan are you when you're watching a match? For example, the 2008, was it a Wimbledon? It was Rafa and Roger. How were you did you watch that?
I did.
And how were you? What was your demeanor watching that? Are you screaming at the TV?
Yes, I was screaming when I wasn't going, I can't watch this anymore. I just can't. I can't watch this anymore. I'm going to turn off the television. This is heart palpitations and everything. So give me another glass of wine. I don't know. It was so
stressful.
Stressful. I found it. It's like sometimes I cannot watch Serena play.
Yes.
Because
every ball, I'm like, I can't do it.
I want her to win so badly, and then she does these walkabout things where all of a sudden, she can't hit a serve in, or and it drives me crazy.
Yeah. Someone put in here that they're deciding whether or not to default Djokovic. What?
Why?
Oh, Lord. I don't know.
Charles, not going to go there because
Charles Ingram, give more information before I have heart palpitations now.
Yeah, because you don't want us to have to stop this interview. Go watch TV now, do you?
Oh my gosh. Well, we're gonna put that over onto the side, and oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to figure out what that is. But anyway, my more interesting guest right now is you, and so I love Djokovic, but I love you more. So,
dear, thank you, my darling.
She said Charles Ingram said he hit one of the officials with the ball. That can't be by.
That must have been a mistake.
That had to. Well, I hope it was a mistake.
Okay.
I think the importance of the U.S. Open will go down significantly if he's out of the tournament at this. Not by losing, mano y mano. It said he hit the ball carelessly and it hit a lineswoman. And so he...
Well, they can't... That makes no sense.
He said it was an accident, not intentional. But so one of Serena's big rivals was Maria Sharapova.
Since retired.
Did it break your heart when she retired?
Oh, I don't know what I can do without all that screaming and hollering. No, I never liked her. Mm-hmm. From the moment I laid eyes on her. And it gave me enormous pleasure whenever Serena was on the other side of the net and I knew that she was not going to win that match. All you had to do was put Sharapova on the other side of that net and you knew Serena was to win the match. Surprised once.
Right.
End of it.
But it was time and time again that Serena.
Oh yeah, It was like 14 times in a row, wasn't it?
Maybe she's the reason why she retired.
No, she, but never mind. We can't be, too unkind. No, I don't mind seeing the backside of her
Uh-huh.
at all. Not at all. There are a couple of those. Martina Hingis was another one.
Oh my gosh. What about Justine Henin?
Now, girlfriend really could play some tennis. This is true.
Loved her.
Hingis.
Loved
But
her.
I mean, okay, they could play some tennis, but I'm telling you, loathsome as inside, character-wise.
Mm-hmm.
That Martina, I was no big, I had no love of Steffi Graf until, but when Hingis said that she should retire when she was going to that French Open, that Graf should retire, and this was before their final match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, when Graf was handing her, what to her on a platter,
Yeah.
which I watched with great relish.
Great joy.
Yeah, I was at the French Open that year, but I didn't stay long enough to see that match.
Mm-hmm.
And then she served to her underhand in the final of the women's final of the French Open. She served, and then of course she completely lost it when she lost the match, and then she started crying on her mother's shoulder, and she wouldn't come out. She wouldn't come out of the ladies, and I thought that was it showed such, right where her character really was.
Lack of character.
And it wasn't like she was like 14 or something, like with the hormones raging and she's a teenager and, and you've got all of that, puberty thing going on. This is a grown woman.
Yeah, I know what you were going to say, and it was okay if you say it.
Sorry, I thought that.
You can say it.
I don't know who's out there.
Djokovic is out. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
No. Wow. I'll cry in the car a little bit later. But
I'm sorry.
Yes, wow.
I know.
Djokovic.
That seems really, really, really unfair.
There are going to be a lot of people who are happy that that's the case. But
yeah,
I am not one of those people.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'll live.
Yeah, but that's just,
oh my gosh. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
People are now a little nuts,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things happening are just there's so much happening, and everything seems to it's like it goes from 0 to 100.
Knee-jerk reactions.
In a nanosecond. There's nothing in between. It's like I don't know. I have to see it, but I find it a bit weird that if it's an accident, then you can't just. I mean, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Someone can't make a mistake. I mean, is the lines person in the hospital? Is she pressing charges?
Was it malicious? Was it intentional?
Was it intentional? Okay, you're not supposed to do that. We know that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh, that's... Well, anyway. But anyway, I love the fact that you love tennis. I love the fact that you love tennis. And there are a lot of singers who play tennis. Do you play at all?
Oh, no, I'm terrible.
But your dad was an instructor.
I know, but I have no hand-eye coordination at all.
Really?
Yeah, terrible. No,
Oh my
I
gosh.
did try, because I was fascinated by the game, but
Yes.
I was so awful that I just sort of thought, okay, no, you just better keep singing. Keep taking those piano lessons, girl.
Right. Well, let's get back to singing a little bit. I've already had you for, my gosh, I'm going to have you for just a couple more minutes, if I may. If you're not running off. It's late in the Netherlands, so I apologize, but I
God, this
appreciate you.
is way past my bedtime. I just want you to know that.
Well, the listeners, they appreciate it too. So you're now singing and still very young, in my opinion, but still singing in the stages of the great stages of the world. But you're doing some different roles than the Electras and then the Yenufas. And are you having pleasure doing that?
Oh yes, I'm enjoying that a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I like being able. I just love good singing.
Oh,
So if I can, like last year, to be able to just like have a good look, like what is Jonas Kaufman doing up in there? Or like uh Monastirska, is that her name, Monastirska? Let me see what is her tongue doing, or Tessier, like you're right
yeah.
next to them, so you can really, and then you have to sing your little bit, but
Right.
you don't,
Hoping
yeah,
you don't forget it, right?
yeah, because you're like, oh my gosh, there's Anna Netrebko right
Right.
there.
Yeah. She said that you're wonderful, by the way. When I was, I put on there promoting, Anya was like, oh, she's so wonderful. So
Oh,
Anya Netrebko said that about you.
well, she was just brilliant. We had a really nice time. But
Love her.
so I like being around, like really good singing. And so, but I also realize that I'm also 71 years old.
Young.
So I am not going to be able to carry roles that I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can still bring something of value as a character to the
Mm-hmm.
stage, then okay, I will
Yes.
do that. And I will be the first person to say, don't be going out there with no great big wobble.
We're not going to do that, right?
I'm not doing that. You're not doing that. So as long as I can deliver what I need to deliver, then I'm happy. I'm happy to keep going. I
Yes.
and it doesn't, I remember somebody told me that there are no small rules. There are only small artists or
Right.
small people. Something like I was like, okay, maybe that's going to be my new motto.
There you go. Sometimes the smaller roles are more nerve wracking than the big roles.
Well, something that I do would what one of the things that I would want to sing more of would be the Figaro Marcellina.
Mm-hmm.
That is so well written.
Yes, it is.
You sing a little bit, you go off and you get a coffee, and then you come back on, you sing a little bit, and then you go off and you get and so you have time. You're not carrying the whole, the
Mm-hmm.
thing. So that things like that, I really enjoy. Anyway, yeah.
Yes. Patrick
And
McCoy, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
hi, Patrick.
Patrick McCoy says, McCoy said, can you talk about your beginnings in Lynchburg, Virginia, and then your time at Virginia State College University?
Okay, so I was 2 years old when my parents left Lynchburg. So I really don't know anything about it other than that it's on Seven Hills and it's real pretty
Mm-hmm.
down there. Virginia State, though,
Uh-oh.
I did. Willis Patterson.
Yes.
He had a summer camp for high school kids in the mid-'60s and at Virginia State in the summer. And I went to that 2 summers in a row in Petersburg. My grandmother lived in Petersburg, actually. Mm-hmm. So my mother's mother. So, but I think I lived on campus. I can't quite, I mean, that's a really long time ago. Sorry.
It's okay.
And we did South Pacific in 1964. I have a picture of that, actually. You know how you've had all this time to go through all those boxes of stuff?
Yes.
That you haven't had time to go through for decades. And so I found all these pictures from that. And so there's a picture of all of us. There must be 50 kids. And Willis Patterson in the back, as our sort of mentor, and in South Pacific. And then I went 1 year to my parents' alma mater, to Virginia State, for my undergrad, one year only.
Yes.
And I think I studied with Dr. Patterson in that year. And
do you know the name Paula Potts? Paula Potts said she was there with you.
Potts, where?
Paula Potts, she's on here. She said she was there with you.
She was.
The Sit Down with LB reconnects people.
Oh my God. That picture, she's right next to me on that picture.
Oh, really? She said she was there with you.
Yeah, she's on that picture with South Pacific. Oh, girl. Now that's taking me back. Okay.
She said I was in that. She said she has that picture in DC.
Oh, yes. Okay.
She says she loves you too.
I love you back. Oh.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Curtis Ram says that your Dis-moi que je me suis belle from Thais, that aria will ring in his ears because of you at Santa Fe Opera.
Oh.
Look at all the tributes. They love you. I love you.
Thank you so much. This is really fun.
And I have to tell people about the time that I came to the Netherlands and spent the most wonderful day with you and your family. You were such a gracious hostess and just friend and colleague, and so supportive and inviting. You just, I from that moment on, of course I'd known of you, but you didn't know me from Jack, I don't think, at that moment.
I heard you sing, didn't I? and you sang, my darling.
Well, I also, do you remember that picture? And I talked to Harlan. Yeah. You know, you're the last one, because in this series that I've done, the Sit Down, I've done George Shirley, Vincent Cole, Harlan, Martina Arroyo, and now you. That picture that I absolutely cherish with all 6 of us there, the 5 icons and then me, that just is a picture that I will keep forever. And so I appreciated you then, and then, of course, our time in the Netherlands and this,
Well, we have to do that again.
Yes. Yes. Sure. Absolutely. You have been, oh my gosh, wonderful. I have loved talking to you today, and this is not the last time. And my guests have loved you. So many people, I was so focused on speaking with you. I'm just saying I love her, and this was my favorite moment of her, and she was so incredible, and she was so wonderful, and all these things, and of course Paula Potts and so many.
Wait a minute. Are those comments, are they going to be up on this page? Can I read those?
You absolutely can. They will be here, and nothing will be erased. So if you go and listen, and so many people are like, I'm loving this interview so much, and
kind.
It's all you. So
thank you.
It's getting late over there in the Netherlands, right?
It is.
Okay, and this is past your bedtime. Dottie Schmidt. Oh, Dottie Schmidt, thank you. A friend of mine, she said, thank you for such a fun and interesting afternoon. It's all Roberta. So.
No, thanks, Larry.
Thank you. Many hugs to you. Please stay safe.
You too, huh?
Thank you for sitting down with me.
Stay safe. You too.
Thank you to all my friends.
Okay.
We will. I have friends in Russia here, on the West Coast. Yeah, all of wonderful, wonderful people all over the world that are following these. And so I'm happy that you were, again, as I said before, that you were with me today. So thank you so much.
Thank you too. Thank you.
My best to you and your family, yes?
Yeah, we'll see ya. Okay.
We'll see you soon. Until the next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And so thank you, everybody. Again, thank you all. Thank you, my friends Monica and Jared and DeAndre and Jeannie and Paula Potts and all of you. Patrick D. McCoy, always supportive. Of course, Shy Ma, Sadie Rucker. There's so many people I could thank, and forgive me if I don't say your name, but I appreciate all of you always following these conversations. I wanted to give a shout out to my best friend in the world, Richard White, rawtuba.com. I'm representing him today. Love him. Thank you, Jeannie. I'm having a great time. And next week, as I said before, I'm going to have Simon Estes will be here. So come back for another episode. Next week, we will be at our normal time because Simon is in the States. And so, again, I thank Roberta for staying up so late, in the Netherlands with me. But make sure you tune in next week for another episode of the Sit Down with LB.